So welcome guys for your final workshop. We are going to talk about finance. We are going to define your financial needs, define your cost and pricing, and you will plan your startup costs. It will be fun. Yes, it will be fun. We will enjoy it, and you will do loads of work linked to your make you understand even your business more and to start planning for your future pricing and financial plan. So, what are we going to talk about is the following. We are going to talk about personal budget. Then we will go for the first breakout. Then we will go for cost and pricing, second breakout. We will have a little break. And are going to talk about startup costs. And will be the third breakout. And by the end, we will do evaluation and important next step before the graduation day. Okay? Now, I'm going to share with you. Sorry, let me check if it's working. Okay, so financial planning. Some people like finance and math and numbers. Some people might not. It's completely normal to feel intimidated by finance. However, the good news that you can be learned, and absolutely anyone can learn finance. We are going to share some videos throughout the day to talk about our champion story. And Maria, her name, she will talk in different videos. And I'm going to introduce the first one now.
When I started my business, I was not confident with.
Did you hear the video? I stopped it now. I just want to make sure if it's working or not.
Yeah, maybe a bit more volume, Fuad.
Let me try. Okay.
When I started my business, I was not confident with finance, and it's a really important part of any business. You need to understand money in order to make money, but entrepreneurship is not always the fastest way to make money. In fact, to make money, you first need to spend money. You need to be smart and patient to make a profit and see it all pay off. For me, I started off by calculating how much money I need each month to pay my rent, food, and living expenses. I need to earn at least that amount each month from my business to pay my living costs. At the beginning, I had a part-time job to support my income.
So that is the first part of the video. She's talking about personal budget, talking about your own personal budget. And that's what the first section will be. So we're going to talk about three parts: your monthly expenses and your salary, your costs and your price for your products and services, and we will talk about your MVP startup costs. For example, how much money you need to start your business for 6 months. Now we're going to talk about monthly expenses. So business grows over time. It takes time and patience to go. It's a myth that you will make so much money quickly, and it will need to be built like slowly. Until you are a full-time entrepreneur, you still need to live day to day, and that means that you need to know how much you spend, how much you need to live your day, and you need to ensure that you start measuring based on your personal expenses. So before we go into the first one, I would like to introduce the tool for you. So first of all, this tool is developed by TERN to help you in planning your finance. And it's delivered to all TERN programs. So it's a little bit like advanced and have like many parts in it. And I will show you part by part what's inside. The first part is about personal budget, and I want to make like so. This part is to help you calculate your personal money and what much you need each month. So, and you can find in here, there is a video, explainer video to explain this specific one. Each tool has something, and all tools have a guide inside them. You will see that. Next, startup budget and pricing, costing, and profit. These are the main three we are going to focus on today. However, there are another four in that. Sales forecast, it's actually estimates monthly sales for the next year, the coming year. There is cash flow forecast, takes money, like tracks money, how it comes in and what's going out each month to keep a track of your money through over the year as well. And there is accounting tracker. It's actually a handy tool whenever you start selling product or services. It will help you stay organized and track your business finance easily. So it records everything you pay and everything coming in. The last thing, it's about loan ask. How to ask for loans, how much money to, it helps you calculate how much money you might need to borrow. Now we are going to start with the personal budget. The personal expenses, which also called necessity budget. This is the first part of the tool. It's actually show you in details how much you spend. So as you can see in here, it provides you with a table about expected stuff you pay for, and you add the monthly amount for everything. It contains literally everything. So mortgage, loan repayment, credit card, electricity, water, mobile phones, TV license, car subscriptions, housekeeping. So literally everything you might expense, like spend money on. However, if you find something, like if you have something you don't have in here, you can add it on the last two, like other expenses. Okay? And then the tool will sum it up for you and show you how much you spend monthly and immediately show you how it goes yearly. Moreover, as you can see in here, after you add your expenses, you put your personal income. If you have a part-time job, you put your monthly income. If you take benefits, you put it monthly, and if you want to use your personal savings, you put that in, and we will talk about your salary from the business. In this case, as we are looking right now, there is zero as a salary from the business. And in this example, they spend 1,400 and the income is 1,300, which means monthly they are losing £100. So basically, if in this case, if they put their salary for £100, they will be spending as much as they are uh, earning. So let's say you put £500 monthly as a salary to start with. That means you have monthly 400 income, sorry, savings. So you are going to work on that now. This tool is just to help you organize your personal expenses. And that will be very quickly 15 minutes to spend with your mentor to actually define your personal monthly cost, income, and income needs. You go to there is a file separate than the roadmap inside your drive. You go to the tab, like you open the same file I showed you like now before I introduced it to you, and to go for necessity budget. Okay? So now I'm going to stop sharing and sorry, it's taking time. So before we go, I just want to tell you something. Some people might not want to share how much money it's like a personal. So how much money you earn or how much money you spend on stuff. So for now, you can, if you don't want to share your like exact numbers, you can put hypothetical number and then you change it later. However, now we just like to practice how that will look like. And it will not be finished by this session. It will be like you might work on it later more because this is just 15 minutes. And the last thing that the more accurate you put information in, it will help you more. When I did it, I have to spend time on my actual bank account to see what I spend money on in order to organize that. So now you will receive a prompt to go for your breakout rooms. Good luck with the work and have fun. So I'm going to go for the next video for Maria.
To understand whether my products can make profit.
Here we go. Make sure the voice is up.
To understand whether my products can make profits, I also need to understand how much it will cost me to make one item. I find out how much it costs to get fabrics, packaging, and delivery for one item. I also include my own production salary. I pay myself a bit more than the national minimum wage for each hour I work on making products. Now I take my price per item minus the cost per item, which gives me my business profits per item.
Yeah. Now we're going to talk about the costs and your price and how much like the tool inside that. Before we go to this, I'm going to share with you key elements of your pricing. First one-time costs and recurring costs. In your business, you might spend something for one time, which means like laptop, a phone for your business, or maybe a machine to produce something. So it's considered as one-time cost. You pay it for once in your business. Recurring costs, it's like stuff coming in basis, like anything else, email, website development considered as one-time cost. However, if you are doing a following, it will be like this. So the next one is your customers' expectations. How valuable is your offering to customers, and how much will be they happy to pay you for your service or for your product? I know some of you already asked on the test event how much people might pay for the service or for their product, and they received some feedback, so they have an idea about this. The third one is your competitor pricing. By now, I hope you know some direct competitors and that you can find out about their pricing. And you have to be realistic here because each industry of business have a limit about how much you should charge. And please, like if you want to search more about product, you can actually ask ChatGPT. If you cannot find specific answers about the prices for your competitors, talk to your mentor or your coach to help you with that. The fourth one is your positioning in the market. So you know now customers how much they can pay, you know about competitors pricing. So now you decide, do you want to be the most expensive luxury brand in your industry or the most affordable one or something in between? So you take a decision where you want to be, your positioning. And the last thing, it's about profit. Once you have established your cost and pricing, you can work on setting the cost because normal profit margin in your industry can change. So each industry have a margin for profit. Some of them low, like any business who contain like producing and have so many materials and machinery and people, staff. And the other one, it might be high, like restaurants, for example. So you need to follow the margin for your business. So now, before we go to the examples, I'm going to show you how to work this out. So I'm going to show you here we go. Can you see the tool? Perfect. So this is the tool you were working on. And if you can see, like other than the videos in here, you can go, let's say we're talking about pricing, which is like tab number 3. And each section will have a video in here, as you can see. I'm going to play this video now to explain how this tool works.
Dear TERN community member, I want to present to you the pricing and costing tool as part of your financial planning tool by TERN, made available to you to plan the finances for your business. Now, this tab is all about planning the specific costs, pricing, and profitability of different products you sell or different services that you sell. The first thing that I want to show you when you come to this tab is this particular section here on the left hand side, where you can click on this little plus button, which I will show you here. And when you do that, you will be able to unfold multiple products and services that you can make your plan for. Now, you can also collapse or hide, in other words, this by clicking on the minus button that appears when it's open. And when you do that, you just see one first product or service that you may want to make your pricing and costing plan for. So it's really important. This tool can be used for the planning around multiple products and services, but to keep it simple for your first attempt, maybe it's good to just show one at a time. Now, in our example, we're taking the example of a product-based business selling recycled blank t-shirts through e-commerce. And that's what we've entered here in the product or service name. We've entered this name, recycled black t-shirt, for the type of product we're planning for. Then we have a section about the price. Now, you may already have a price in mind, but it's important to base it on market research and your actual costings, which is what this tool is all about. I'll zoom in a little bit. In column B, you can define the price for this item. Now, to get a good indication what the market says about what your competitors' pricing is, as well as what your customers might expect, you have initially column F and G, where you can input the average competitor price for this type of product in your market. So, for example, you could do a web search, maybe with Google Gemini, to ask a question such as, how much on average does a recycled black t-shirt cost in UK e-commerce shops? And then you can find the average and enter it directly here. Now, our initial price set, £19, compared to the £20.33 average price of competitors for this type of product in the UK, is about 93% of the average price of competitors. Now, you might say that's good, you might say that's bad. If you want to undercut the competition, you might want to hit under 100%, or if you want to match the competition, you might want to say, you know what, it should be £20.33. Why should I earn less? It's up to you, and these are different approaches. Now, if you want to just take the price of 3 competitors who are your most important competitors and do the calculation based on that, you can unfold in column B, which you see here at the top, the other columns in this section, where you can enter the price for competitor 1, competitor 2, and competitor 3 in detail, and that's where you get your average from. This field can auto-calculate, so like I showed you earlier, column F can auto-calculate based on the detailed columns I just showed you a moment ago, or you can enter this amount directly, okay? And then the average price calculates automatically based on these 2 fields, right? The price and the average competitor price. Now, next up, you want to see what your direct and indirect costs are against making 1 unit of your product. Now, you can find the direct costs and write them down on a piece of paper that are involved in your production, acquiring the item, getting it to you, and then also fulfilling it, as in sending it to the customer through e-commerce, for example. So that would be your direct costs in fulfilling this product unit to the customer. Once again, you can go into detail. If you want to do a detailed plan, you can go to this plus icon, and then you get to unfold several columns in the costing section for the direct costs. And you can enter different cost items. Each cost item would be an element of your total direct costs of production and fulfillment for this type of item. So for recycled black t-shirts, for example, recycled garments, which are needed to make the item, the production salaries at the factory from which you buy these per unit, and the transport to your delivery site from which you fulfill the items to customers, the storage costs at the fulfillment site, and the packaging involved for each item that you send, as well as the cost of sending it to the customer. Now, these are quite cheap. Maybe this is higher. We could say this costs £1 per item, for example. And as you can see, the total direct costs per unit are calculated based on these different cost factors that all play a role in your total costings for this type of item. You can hide this again by clicking minus here at the top. Again, I'll show you what I mean, this minus button. And then you can collapse all these columns, and all you see is the summary cost, direct costs per unit. And now you understand where that comes from, okay? Now, your gross profit is calculated by taking your price minus this direct cost per unit. But it is not all the costs involved with fulfilling your product, because there's also your indirect costs. These are the costs of running your business in general. And you can associate the total costs per month of indirect costs that don't have to do with your production and fulfillment, such as your salary, maybe the rent of your own premises, different expenses you have, legal expenses, subscriptions, telephony and marketing costs, and many more, the costs of any local staff you have or contractors, etc., and include them in your total monthly costs here, which aren't just for this one item, but actually for any item you sell, because in the end, you have to cover the costs of your business also through the income that you get from your different products, right? So it's important to associate your indirect costs with each product as well and understand the impact on the profitability of each item. So in this case, we say £2,500 of total monthly indirect costs, and then we estimate how many units you can sell of these recycled black t-shirts per month and enter that here. In this case, we said 250 t-shirts sold per month. Now that means that there's a cost of £10, 2,500 monthly costs divided by 250 units per t-shirt sold. That's a lot, right? But that's the truth. You have to pay yourself a salary and it has to come from somewhere. So the total costs are per unit the costs of the production and fulfillment, the direct costs per unit, as well as the indirect costs. And together it's £14.70. So the profit on top of paying yourself a salary, paying your staff and your bills, and paying for the production and fulfillment, the profit remaining for your business are £4.30 per item, which is not too bad. And you can see this is a total profit margin of 23%, which auto-calculates. And this is the case with many fields in this sheet. They auto-calculate, and on that basis, you can get a quick overview.
Okay. What I'm going to say, So what I'm going to say, guys, I know it's a bit long video, and it might be like good work to do. However, I want to focus on, like, in the next session, focusing on your cost for one product or one service is really important, which is the one in here, the direct cost and the indirect cost. Even in this session, you will just focus on the direct cost for now, just for this part of the session, because it's really important to know exactly how much you need to spend on each product or in each service. And you will put in here the price by unit, and you can read the rest, and you can explore the rest even, because we are going to talk about that later, and you might use the comparing your price with your competitor to know if you are close to them or not. Don't worry about that. Anyway, this video is available inside the tool. And now I'm going to continue on the presentation. So this is one example on some part of the fields have been filled. So we have here Dotte's upcycled dress. She actually creating dresses, and she want to calculate the cost for that. So she put sewing materials, raw materials, which is secondhand, printed flyers, Etsy commissioning and postage, 3 hours of work. Can you notice she put the salary of the time she is spending doing this, which is really important, and it's part of the cost of the product. So she decided that, not she decided, she actually spent 3 hours doing this, and she put for herself 14 per hour, which is a little bit more than London minimum wage. The total cost is like £56, and you can see in here how she compared her price to the competitors. So she knows 3 of them, 90, 80, and 90. The average was 86. So she is really close, like 92% comparing to the actual competitor pricing, which is not bad. And the gross profit, which the tool calculated for you, it's 29%, which is close to the market margin, profit margin, like the closing market. So this is an example for a product. This is an example for service example. So this man, which his name is Nathan, he do meditation event using the gong method. This is like the two things like at the top. So it's like meditation. So he needs 5 hour preparation. As you can see, we started with 5 hour preparation and 5 hour delivery, or maybe 3 hour delivery. And that cost him £140 for 10 hours of work, a little bit over the minimum wage, London wage. Tea for participants, rent of the place, Eventbrite, professional musician, and you can add as much detail as you can. So in this case, he put the competitors. The only thing I want to mention in here that he put the price for the item 600 because he is doing sessions. So he has like 30 participants in the room and each one of them paying £20. That's why the item is like 600. So now what you are going to try to do, guys, is to spend 30 minutes with your mentor to try to develop your costing and pricing. The more details you put in, the better pricing and the better understanding for your product will look like. You go to the tab 3 at the financial planning tool. I will stop sharing now. Are you ready to go for the next breakout? Perfect. Now you'll receive a prompt and good luck with your work. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your 5-minute break. Okay, now I'm going to share with you the third video for Maria.
Of course, you also need to know how much you need to start the business. I created a startup budget for my business in a spreadsheet, just like the templates we have made for you. I started my lingerie brand with £1,000. I already had a sewing machine, but I needed to get fabrics and sewing supplies like threads, scissors, pattern papers. I also need to pay my website, packaging, business cards, as well as pay for any photo shoots for my marketing. Now that I have started my business, every month I check how much the business earned and how much I spent on it. When I make profits, I add some of it to my monthly salary, but I always keep some money in my business account so that I could pay for the next batch of materials and marketing. Once you have run your business for a few months, you should set yourself clear financial goals by making sales and cash flow forecasts for the next 6 to 12 months and by working towards your dream salary. All these points matters to make your business a financial success. It took me a while to understand all this. Remember, it's normal not to know everything at the beginning, and you will learn as you go.
Perfect. As Maria is working, as she was talking about startup cost for your MVP, startup cost, we're going to work on that now, showing you the tool and some of examples. So basically, your startup cost, it's like a cost you need to do your work for a specific period of time. In the tool, it might be, it's based on what you decide. It can be 3 months, 6, or maybe for some businesses it can be a year. How much it costs to start your business for a year. So you will see at the tab number 2, you will have my startup cost. It will go into one-off cost and recurring cost. The one-off cost, it's consider stuff you buy for one time, tools and equipment, license, courses, web and marketing design, starting inventory if you need inventory for your work. This is the one-off cost. Running cost, that include ongoing stock and inventory, salaries and wages, like depends on how many, like that include employees, accountants, whoever work for you or with you. Subscriptions, which you have to pay monthly or yearly, rent, premises, equipment, etc. The startup cost, it's basically one-off cost for the period of time you decided, plus the running cost you need for this time. Let me show you Dottie's upcycle dress as an example. For her, she decided that the one-off costs for 3 months, a bulk of second-hand fabric, sewing materials, packaging, flyers, stickers, all in bulks, second-hand laptop, second-hand smartphone, scissors, business registration. She put them in here, how many items needed, and the price of them, and the tool will calculate this for her, for you. So for her, the one-off cost totals is 700.2, sorry, 02. And you have like the recurring costs, the monthly cost. She put accounted fees, if you can see, like phone, £12 for 3 months, accountant, Google Suite, sewing studio desk rent, because she doesn't need to buy one at the beginning. She just wants to rent one in order to lower her costs. She put like 3 hours for like 60 per hour. That would be 180. And she put a salary for herself, one for sourcing, which mean like to find the time to bring the materials in, to sort out this kind of stuff, and one for production, the time she is going to spend doing the work. And overall, that the cost was like the sum up between this, the one-off cost, and the monthly recurring cost for 3 months. I just want to highlight something. Remember, the more you lower your cost, the better the result is. For example, if you can see second-hand laptop, not a new laptop, second-hand smartphone. If you know somebody who can deliver the service for you for free, you can do that. So I'm just saying, the lower, the better for the costs. For the service example, we have in here the one-off cost for the meditation, the gong meditation event. Meditation gong, second hand, lightweight meditation, decorative carpet, thermoscan, LED lamps, t-shirts, portable charger, 2 carry-on bags. He actually mentioned every small details to make sure that, okay, this is the cost. So this is for his cost like 555. For the running costs, he needs marketing assistant, website subscription, print material, accountant fees, founder salary, assistant freelancer, Eventbrite cost, and venue cost. So this is his startup salary for his business is 555 plus 8,060 for 3 months. So what you are going to do now, guys, you are going for 20 minutes and you are going to work on drafting your startup budget on the same tool on the tab number 2. Okay? Good luck trying this out. You will receive a prompt now. Good luck. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this part as well. We are now going to, perfect. Now we are going to go for the last part from each workshop. We are going to do the evaluation, and then we will talk about next step and important next step for the graduation event. Okay? I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. Can you see my screen? Perfect. Perfect. So for the next 3 minutes, could you please scan the QR code, give us a feedback about the session. Remember, the areas of feedback is in front of you. And I will be silent in the next 2 minutes. Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys. Now I'm going to go for the last part, which is the next steps. So, see you at the graduation. Congratulations for finishing the sessions. You made it, guys. You are now preparing for the final event. It's really exciting. You will enjoy it. So, until then, meet with your mentor and coach to practice your pitch with your coach and mentor, and to finish your pitch deck or poster and send it to your coach to make sure you are ready for the next event, for the graduation. Okay? Good luck with that. However, I'm going to invite Ellie to give you more tips and guidance about the event.
Hi guys. I'm not sure it's quite guidance, more like or tips, more like a confirmation. Because there were some questions about the length of the pitch, and we weren't sure if it was 4, 5, or 6 minutes. And in order to help you prepare this week, we just wanted to confirm tonight that the pitch will be 4 minutes if you're pitching, of course. So just to explain a little bit, so the time allocation will be 10 minutes per pitcher, but we'll need to have 1 minute before and at the end for the setup. And we also need some time for questions from the audience. So that will leave you 8 minutes. So that's 4 minute pitching and 4 minutes for Q&A from the audience. And we do realize that it seems like it's very, very short, but in reality, it's quite a long time to be talking about your product or your business. And we also wanted to let you know that you'll be in a group, in the pitch room. So there'll be 4 or 5 of you pitching in a row. And we just want to make sure that we keep the audience fresh for like 60 minutes in total. So everybody gets a chance to get a good audience and not too tired at the end. So if you could get your pitch ready for around 4 minutes, I think that's the first guideline that we wanted to share with you. And in terms of timing, so just to confirm that it's if you can, we know you all have work beforehand, but if you can be there for 4 p.m., that will leave you ample time to prepare because the audience, the public will arrive from 5:30. So 4 p.m. will be the time that ideally, if you could, you should be in the office. And that's very much it from me. Fuad, feel over to you to finish this one.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Eddie. Okay, guys, if you have any more questions coming to your mind, please contact it to your coach. Uh, it's already, I'm 2 minutes over. Sorry for that. Enjoy the rest of your evening and see you at the graduation. Good luck.